I'm making this post to make people aware of the situation that we have at hand, let people come up with their own conclusions, since many people think that my actions might be unjustified. However, this is my child, and I'm going to fight for justice for her. Her name is April Lynn Holt. This is what it's like to go through your dead daughter's things. I've had him in my garage now for about 11 weeks. And so here's a box of her things. So we have...
Okay, so the story is that we are getting divorced because it was our decision. It's my best friend. I still love her to death. Like, we still got a child together. We still gonna be hanging out. I'm probably gonna see it most days of the week, but at the end of the day, we got shit to do. That's it. That's like, look at her, bro. Like, I would never lose this forever. For real. And look.
So we're good, y'all.
For real, like, for real.
Of course. The phone rang, and it was Donovan, and he said he was upset, kind of like in a panic upset. He's like, we found April. She wasn't breathing, and so she's in the ambulance on the way to the hospital. DA and everybody agreed to close it. I got up, marched out of that room, and I said, I'm not done. I'm going to keep investigating.
By the summer of 2023, 29-year-old April Holt had built an online world of pure positivity. To over 200,000 TikTok followers, she was a coach, a beacon of light, teaching the power of manifesting a great life. Her story was one of overcoming adversity, centered on a happy home with her husband, Donovan, and their 2 kids. But what happens when that carefully curated picture is shattered in an instant? On a late July morning, April was found unresponsive in her bathroom, a plastic bag taped around her head. Days later, she was gone. Law enforcement looked at the social media star who preached growth and saw a tragic, personal choice. They called it a suicide and closed the case. But April's mother, Jamie Dickerson, looked at the same scene and saw something entirely different. She saw a cover-up. And while the police were ready to move on, Jamie was just getting started. This is the story of a mother who refused to accept the official story. A mother who, armed with nothing but gut instinct and relentless determination, took on an entire system to prove her daughter was murdered. She didn't just demand a second look. She became the investigator, uncovering the evidence police missed and engineering the confession they never got. In the end, she solved the case herself. But the question that will haunt you is, why did she have to? Before we unravel how Jamie Dickerson tore apart a false narrative, welcome to True Crime Unraveled. A huge thank you to our community on YouTube, TikTok, and Facebook. We see your comments. We read every single one, and we appreciate you more than you know. Keep them coming. If you're new here and want to follow this incredible journey of a mother's justice, make sure to subscribe. To understand the gravity of the lie, you needed to know the truth of April's life. She wasn't just an online persona. She was a creator in the truest sense. She built her own lash business from the ground up, becoming her own boss. She celebrated her 29th birthday in early July 2023, reflecting on her blessings, primarily her 2 children, 11-year-old Serenity and 7-year-old Denzel. Her TikTok was a mix of motivation, quirky humor, and raw honesty about mental health struggles.
You shouldn't fear failure. You should fear being in the exact same position that you are today next year. We are halfway through 2023, and some people have made major moves and their lives have completely transformed. However, there are a huge group of people who are in the exact same position financially, spiritually, mentally, relationship-wise that they were last year, and you have not grown. I'm telling you right now, it is not too late to make the intentional decision to grow and do better for yourself, to manifest a better life. We are here on earth to grow and evolve. And if you're not doing that, you're not really living. Get up and grow, y'all. Bless your life and have a great day on purpose.
She preached intention. Progress over perfection, she'd say. Have a great day on purpose.
I just pray and send good energy to anybody who's seeing this. I hope you have an amazing day on purpose. Be intentional and grow just a little bit. Progress over perfection.
Her relationship with Donovan Holt was a public storyline. They met as friends, became best friends, then partners. They shared their ups, downs, and a prior 3-year separation openly with followers, framing every challenge as something they'd overcome together.
What do you think the secret to our relationship has been? Oh, no, that's the question. It's
I'm supposed
rolling.
to answer right now.
Yeah.
Being best friends. That came first. If we weren't friends,
You're so out of breath.
I am out of breath. But honestly, if we weren't friends first, it wouldn't have lasted. Like, that's been the base of the whole relationship foundation, was that we were friends. And so even through the bullshit, we can joke around and maintain that friendship. I mean, it's what kept us through our separation, honestly. So
Yeah.
being friends is important.
He really is like my bestest friend ever.
The bestest.
The best friend I could ever ask for. And I married him.
He really is like my bestest friend ever, April said in one video. And I married him. But behind the curated clips, the reality was more unstable. By July 2023, April had made a definitive decision. She filed for divorce. She told her mother, Jamie, this was it. She was moving forward for good.
Story time. But I couldn't do it without him because I feel like it's wrong to only put out one side. So, here we go.
Okay, so the story is that we are getting divorced because it was our decision. It's my best friend. I still love her to death. Like, we still got a child together. We still gonna be hanging out. I'm probably
All
gonna
the time.
see it most days of the week, but at the end of the day, we got shit to do. That's it. You feel me? She has a path to go. I got a path to go, but our paths are parallel, and we always gonna be next to each other.
Yeah.
And who's to say what's gonna happen in the future? All that we know is right now. Right now, it's the best. I mean, real talk, it's the best decision for both of us. For her to do what she needs to do, for me to do what I need to do. So
we can grow and heal and
that's it.
elevate. No hard feelings. This is not a messy divorce or anything like that. We don't do that. This is like I said. Like he said, this is my best friend at the end of the day. He has been before the relationship, before the marriage, before the kid. So nothing's gonna change that. So
Like, look at her, bro. Like, I would never lose this forever. For real. And look,
so we're good, y'all. We're
for real
good.
though. Like, for real, for
Yeah.
real.
Promise y'all.
Donovan seemingly knew the score. Jamie learned he had pawned one of their wedding rings a week before July 28th. April, meanwhile, had plans. She was supposed to see the Barbie movie with her mom and meet her at church the next day. So, who was April on that final morning? She was a woman actively building a future without her husband. A business owner with appointments. A mother with weekend plans. A person who taught others to get up and grow. Does that sound like someone who would simply stop? The morning of Friday, July 28th, began normally. April had her coffee, journaled, hugged her son. Then, she and Donovan went into the bathroom. An argument started. Their son, Denzel, heard it. He listened at the door, peeked underneath, and saw both their feet. He couldn't understand the words, but he felt the tension and ran to his room. Sometime later, Donovan emerged alone. He acted with a chilling normalcy. He got Denzel dressed. He made him lunch and sat with him while he ate. Then, he gave the boy an unthinkable instruction. Go check on your mom. Denzel found his mother unresponsive in the bathroom. Donovan called 911. Paramedics found April with a plastic bag sealed around her head with duct tape. She was rushed to the hospital, but never regained consciousness. She was pronounced dead on July 31st. To the responding Metro Nashville officers, the scene read like a clear, if tragic, suicide. They took Donovan's statement, the distraught husband who found his wife. The case was quickly deemed non-criminal, a non-event, as one report would later imply. But Jamie was at the hospital, and she saw what the police either dismissed or ignored. Bruises on April's neck, marks on her wrists and ankles, a gash on her inner thigh. When she pointed these out, she was met with a wall. No signs of trauma, they insisted. The official autopsy would later note injuries, but stuck with the suicide ruling. The system had spoken. Case closed.
I'm making this post to make people aware of the situation that we have at hand, let people come up with their own conclusions, since many people think that my actions might be unjustified. However, this is my child, and I'm going to fight for justice for her. Her name is April Lynn Holt. On July 28th, she woke up, drank her coffee, journaled as usual, enjoying her peaceful morning, hugged and kissed her 7-year-old son, Denzel, and her husband then went into the bathroom and began to argue and fight. My 7-year-old grandson put his ear to the door and heard his parents fighting, and he looked underneath to see both of their feet. He then listened some more, but he couldn't understand what they were saying, and so he looked back under the door again, where he saw my daughter laying on the ground. He then ran to his room. His dad shortly after came into his room, and he got him dressed and he fed him. And he then had him go check on his mom. He asked him to go check on his mom, in which he unlocked the door by himself and saw his mom not breathing with a bag over her head on the ground. 911 was then called. We got to the hospital, and she had no brain function and no blood flow to her brain. We did not find out about the bag, which was not disclosed to us, for over 6 hours. In that time, her husband had went back to the apartment 2 times, not knowing I don't know what he was doing there. My daughter had requested a divorce 2 weeks prior to her death. On July 31st of 2023, my daughter was pronounced dead, and I want justice. I'm her mom, and I'm going to get justice. Please help me spread this story.
For Jamie, that wasn't the end. It was the start of a war. Imagine being told the most profound loss of your life is an open and shut case. Now, imagine knowing, in your soul, it's a lie. Jamie Dickerson became a one-woman cold case unit. She requested every file, every report. She pored over the autopsy that contradicted the police's no trauma claim. And then, she found the key that had been sitting there all along. Forensic testing on the plastic bag and the duct tape revealed fingerprints. Only one set of fingerprints. They belonged to Donovan Holt, not April's. If April had placed that bag over her own head, her prints would be there. They weren't. This report existed. It was in the file. And still, the case remained closed. Jamie filed complaints. She went to the Community Review Board, which forced a 47-page reinvestigation. Yet no charges came. Donovan moved to Texas with Denzel. For 14 months, Jamie fought in near total silence. She reached out to every local news station, but no one would pick up the story. She was a voice screaming into a void.
So guys, I wanted to let you guys know something, which I don't understand if I'm doing something wrong or how I reach out, but there has not been one news channel in the local Nashville area that has picked up April Holt's story, my daughter. Not one, from day one, and it's been 14 months. And I've reached out to Channel 2, Channel 4, Channel 7, Channel 5, any channel out there, including I've reached out to many of the celebrities that are out here. Not one will even respond or take anything on, including I've reached out.
The system had the pieces, the motive, the divorce, the physical evidence, the fingerprints, the suspicious act, pawning the ring, but refused to see the picture. So, Jamie decided to change the game entirely. In September 2024, Jamie did what detectives had never seriously done. She called Donovan Holt. She FaceTimed him. She looked him in the eye through a screen and laid out the evidence she had uncovered. And he folded. With a call recording, Donovan confessed. He said they argued. It escalated. He strangled April. When he realized she wasn't breathing, he panicked. He dragged her to the shower, put the bag over her head, and taped it to stage a suicide. Then, he calmly walked out, got his son ready, fed him, and sent him in to discover the scene. Jamie had it. A full, recorded confession. She took it to the police. Now, with a confession in hand, they finally acted. Donovan was arrested in San Antonio on September 20th, 2024, after confessing again to detectives. A grand jury indicted him on 3 charges: reckless homicide, tampering with evidence, and false reporting. Jamie pushed for first-degree murder. She pushed for a child endangerment charge for the psychological torture inflicted on Denzel. She had done the impossible, but now she demanded a just outcome. The system, however, had one final insult ready. In February 2025, Donovan Holt stood in court. He pleaded guilty. His sentence? 2 years in a Tennessee prison. 2 years. Followed by 8 years of supervised community corrections. Let that settle. For strangling his wife, staging an elaborate false scene, and weaponizing his own son as part of the cover-up, he received 24 months. The fingerprints, the confession, the calculated staging, none of it amounted to murder in the deal that was struck. Donovan's claim of a sex act gone wrong or an accident was given more legal weight than the evidence of his conscious cover-up. Today, Jamie has custody of both grandchildren. She's opened a grief center in April's memory. She's written a book.
And the proceeds that come from this book will also be publishing a children's book called Grieve With Me. And that will be the next one that will be in the series. And then Grieving Through Grace, the next chapter, is the one that will follow this book.
Donovan Holt sits in prison, his 2-year sentence ticking down. So we're left with the uncomfortable questions Jamie's fight forces us to ask. When the system fails to look, who picks up the slack? Is a mother's love the most powerful investigative tool there is? And what does it say when the price for taking a life, for stealing a mother from her children, feels like a bureaucratic slap on the wrist? April Holt deserved a thorough investigation from day one. Jamie Dickerson ensured she got justice, but she shouldn't have had to wage that war alone. What do you think? Was this a failure of resources, a failure of will, or something else? Could this happen in any town? We read every single comment you post. Your engagement is what fuels this channel. If this story of unwavering determination resonated with you, please give this video a thumbs up. It helps more people find these crucial discussions. For more deep dives into cases where the truth is buried by assumption, subscribe to True Crime Unraveled and hit the bell. Thanks for watching.
9-year-old daughter's death was ruled a suicide in Nashville. Her mom knew something wasn't right. So our Marissa Sulik explains what she did to get her daughter justice and put her husband behind bars.
I just pray and send good energy to anybody who's seeing this.
April Holt embodied positivity and shared video messages like this with her 200,000 TikTok followers.
I watch them all the time, almost daily actually, because I feel like I feel like I can actually feel her.
Her mom, Jamie Dickerson, spoke with us today inside a classroom at Believers Faith Fellowship in Christiana. It's full of decor and items April put here. She taught to middle school students in this room. It's also where Jamie was supposed to meet her daughter over a year ago.
We were going to go see the Barbie movie. She said, Donovan has to work. I can't go to the movie, but I'll meet you at church in Blast. This is the Blast classroom tomorrow.
Jamie never got a chance to respond to April. Her daughter and her husband, Donovan Holt, were in a rocky relationship and about to get a divorce.
The phone rang, and it was Donovan, and he said he was upset, kind of like in a panic upset. He's like, we found April, she wasn't breathing, and so she's in the ambulance on the way to the hospital.
Metro Police say April was found with a plastic bag taped tightly around her neck. She died at the hospital, leaving behind a 12-year-old daughter and 8-year-old son. April's death was ruled a suicide, but Jamie knew that was far from the truth.
After they closed April's case, DA and everybody agreed to close it. I got up, marched out of that room, and I said, I'm not done. I'm going to keep investigating.
Jamie would spend hours each day trying to find who killed April. She filed complaints and eventually had the Metro Police Department investigate their own investigation. They came up with this 47-page report. In it, detectives say there were 2 hits of Donovan Holt's fingerprints on the duct tape roll. She showed this to Donovan.
And I said, you can tell me the truth, or I'm going to go meet with the cold case team next Thursday and have this reopened.
Metro Police say weeks ago Donovan confessed to them he strangled April. That's what Jamie suspected from the beginning.
I'm not shocked. I don't have that emotion because I've been literally doing this for a year, knowing what happened. I already knew.
April is now buried minutes away from her Christiana church. While Jamie never got a chance to respond to April,
Comment one thing that you're thankful for this week.
she says these videos are words from the grave.
I still watch her videos and I'm like, oh, I needed that one today.
In the last year, Dickerson has written an entire book about grief, and she plans to open up a grief community center for Rutherford and Bedford counties. In Christiana, Marissa Sulik, WSMV4.
A mid-state mother credited with discovering her daughter's death was not a suicide, and she is furious tonight. She's outraged that her accused killer pleaded guilty to reckless homicide, not murder. Fox 17 News' Karen Aguilar joining us live in front of the AA Birch building downtown after tracking this story for weeks now.
Yeah, Megan, she had previously told us that she wanted to increase the charges, and then we have this result, which is not a good outcome, she says. Jamie Dickerson tells me Donovan Holt pleading guilty to the charges is a slap in the face. She tells me he deserved a first-degree murder charge for what happened to her daughter, April.
Have a great day on purpose.
It's been 5 months since Metro Police say April Holt was strangled by her husband, Donovan Holt. Investigators say it happened at their home on Cane Ridge Parkway. A grand jury indicted Holt on reckless homicide, evidence tampering, and false reporting charges. Wednesday, he pleaded guilty to all three.
It makes me upset because I wanted them increased. These charges are ridiculous.
April's mom, Jamie Dickerson, solved her daughter's murder. It was first ruled a suicide by the medical examiner and Metro Police.
And this is just another slap in the face of, hey, we're going to halfway do our job. We're not even going to charge him with what he should be charged with.
Dickerson had wanted a child endangerment charge since April and Donovan shared a child. She also wanted the reckless homicide charge to be first-degree murder, which would carry a longer sentence. Holt claims he accidentally killed April during a sex act gone wrong.
I don't believe any of that. Why did you go in the living room and eat lunch like nothing was happening, that your wife is in another room dead, and then you send your son in there?
The DA's office tells me they objected to the plea, the judge overruling the objection. Dickerson is upset. This was the outcome after all her hard work.
As her mom, I don't feel like that's justice.
Dickerson is opening her grief center in memory of April Holt over the weekend. This is to promote healing. Reporting live in Nashville, Karen Aguilar, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Is this sentencing justice for you?
Absolutely not. Tonight in Operation Crime and Justice, an update to a story that you first saw right here on Fox 17 News. A mother who solved her own daughter's murder, police first ruled a suicide, is furious about the killer's sentence. Fox 17 News' Karen Aguilar, she broke that story, and she's joining us live in front of the Birch building downtown with an exclusive interview.
Megan, the mom is livid because her daughter's killer will walk free in a couple of years after he serves prison time. He is sentenced to community corrections, which allows him to be back on the streets. The mom tells me that's not something that she wanted. It's something she was forced to agree to.
I have no words. My emotions are everywhere. I think that I've been very angry.
Frustration from Jamie Dickerson on Donovan Holt's sentence. Her daughter, April Holt's husband and killer. A plea deal with the DA's office means he'll spend 2 years behind bars before 8 years of supervised release. His charges were reckless homicide, tampering with evidence, and false reporting.
Why did you agree to this plea deal?
So I'm not sure that it was as much of an agreement or a backed into the corner decision.
Dickerson tells me the DA's office told her going to trial could mean less time behind bars, even seeing the felony charges wiped from his record. Dickerson says she also wanted to protect her grandson, Denzel.
In protection of Denzel, I needed to have him with me for 18 years.
Dickerson wanted her daughter's killer charged with first-degree murder. She says he tried to cover April Holt's death back in July, telling Metro Police it was a suicide. Police bought the story before Dickerson pressured them to take another look. With no luck. Dickerson got the confession herself by discovering Donovan Holt's fingerprints were found on the plastic bag taped tightly around her neck in their Antioch home on Cane Ridge Parkway. but that wasn't enough to put him away for good.
When Donovan was arrested, he said that it was a sexual act of choking and that he freaked out.
We reached out to Donovan's attorney for comment, but haven't heard back.
He is a murderer, and now he's going to be back on the streets because of our justice system.
We reached out to the DA's office to get a better understanding of the circumstances surrounding this plea deal. And they say they can't tell us anything until about a year from now. Reporting live in downtown, Karen Aguilar, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.